today I'm going to talk to you about bullying in schools. That is my topic. So at one point in our lives during school years, we've been exposed to this type of bullying. And of course, in the good old days, it was like, don't pay attention to them. Kids will be kids. And of course, once you experience that at school, once you went home, you forgot about it, tomorrow's a new day. Unfortunately, along with our technology, bullying has evolutionized as well. Now we have a social media platform where kids can be bullied 24/7 if you think about it. Something can be posted anonymously of the child, and it reaches everybody, even people that does not know them or go to the same school that they attend, get to see they're exposed to what's going on with the situation with that particular student. It targets their character. Sometimes pictures or even videos have been uploaded where it's very detrimental to the child's life. And because of this, school administrators, such as teachers, principals, and even school districts in whole, it's very hard for them to identify what is considered bullying, what is within their means that they can do about it, and that's a very difficult subject there, because it's still a work in progress, right? But at the same time, you're not able to overlook the situation, because this could bring very severe consequences to a child's life, right? So in this speech, I'm going to be talking about some problems, the causes, and the solutions to this problem that we're having. So one of the problems that I found in an article, ProQuest, published 6/7/21, is that we've seen an increase of suicides due to this bullying, right? Young children are committing suicide because they're not able to deal with it or handle it on their own. It could be that they feel that they're alone, or they've tried to address it, but nobody does anything about it because they do not know how to handle that situation, right? Sometimes the victim becomes the aggressor. By that I mean, we've seen recent years several school shootings. Also, it could also be where the victim becomes the bully to somebody else that's weaker in character than them, right? Because they're experiencing that with another child bullying them, right? So they're almost like passing that on to another child. Social skills and emotions during the pandemic, according to this article, has been some of the points to blame, why maybe our kids are not able to, they're bullying other kids because they don't know how to per se act socially. They don't know how to have a filter, and unfortunately, this problem is one of the biggest problems that's overlooked in our school system, right? Because again, there's nothing, it's a work in progress, but there's nothing on a paper saying these are the guidelines that we should follow in case of a bullying situation arising in our school district, correct? So another article I looked up was LA Times, published 9/11/2018. They were saying how the problem also lies at, it starts at home. So us as parents have a responsibility to at all times try to be the best that we can be as ourselves, right? Unfortunately, not everybody thinks that way. By that I mean, any bias, any thoughts, any beliefs towards a certain group of people. It could be political, it could be economics, it could be gender belief. When our children at home hear that, and we express ourselves negatively regarding certain situations or certain groups, our kids start to pick that up, right? So because we express it out loud, then kids tend to think that it's okay to do so at school, or to express themselves regardless of anybody else's feelings, or just basically we're teaching them how to be cruel per se, and not have any type of humanity or any type of consideration of what another child may be going through. Another article that I looked up was ProQuest, which was published October 22nd, 2018. It talks about other problems that contribute to bullying is the lack of compassion. Again, we don't teach our kids to be compassionate to one another, regardless of race, gender, creed, whatever it is. Just understand that the other person has feelings too, and what are they going through. You never know what that person might be going through that day, and instead of focusing on other things that are positive here, they don't know how to express compassion. Accountability, I believe it's a big one. When we try to shelter our kids, of course, as parents, we don't want our kids to ever be wrong, or we want to defend them to the max. But sometimes we need to also teach them that when they choose to act incorrectly, there's accountability. You have to understand that you need to own what you did wrong, and maybe even apologize, right? But accountability, that's something that a lot of our young kids lack nowadays. And also discipline. Discipline, I feel like, is one of the big ones. It's very hard, right? When you're raising a child, a child doesn't come with a handbook, but discipline is still an old school thing. I think that we all need to implement. Be precise, be on top of things, and follow through, and so a lot of these kids, because maybe they're latchkey kids, maybe their parents work long hours, they address the issue as okay, then don't do it again, and just let it go. So the lack of discipline is very and it's very there, you don't see the disciplinary actions there that parents could take, right? And so to this, I would like to transition onto the causes of why there's bullies or there's bullying, because I don't believe there's anyone that's born as a bully. I just believe that you become one, right? So some of the causes, according to the Indian Journal, it was published in 2018. A lot of these kids that you might think are problem kids or they're bullies, they come from an unstable home life. You don't know if they're being abused themselves. You don't know if there's a lack of understanding. Maybe the child goes home looking for some comfort from their parent. Maybe they had a bad day. Maybe they got a bad grade. Maybe, just so many reasons why the child needs understanding, time to talk, to vent. And maybe they don't have that in their home life. Maybe they're bullied at home, and it's seen as something as it's normalized. Shake it off. Don't be a crybaby. Okay, and so that teaches the child that's normal, that's the correct way to act, right? And then another article that I looked up was ProQuest, published 11/6, 2018. Also the neglect of our school system, right? How many times have we heard in the news that a lot of parents that have suffered severe consequences, there's been some out there in the news, because they're trying to defend their kids. They've gone to the school district or the schools themselves to try to alleviate this bullying that their child is enduring, right? And nothing's being done. The schools do not want to deal with that. The schools want to brush that underneath the rug, and they feel like that's not an issue that the school needs to be addressing, right? And so, and many times when there's been a case of like a severe bullying, and again, we've heard these examples on the news, to the point where the child feels that they need to take their life, it's very much covered up by the school districts. They don't want to address it. They don't want to take the time to see what's going on and how they can help their students, right? And so according to, I'm quoting board member Shant Sahakiran, one of the, until they said that the first step is to admit when there's a problem, then there's gonna be a solution, correct? So that's where I'm gonna continue on to some solutions that I looked up and I found out, so the first journal is the International Journal of Science, published in 2020. There it talks about how they feel that school bullying will be alleviated, and we had school environment that's safe, but the child feel that they're supportive, that they listen to them, a positive relationship with the school. It's very important for the student and the parent to feel that they have a positive relationship with the school. If the parent or the student goes to the administrators and expresses what they're going through and the issue they're having, and the school is warm and open and sits down and takes the time to hear them and address the situation, then that starts becoming a safe environment where if a child is going through something, they're gonna speak up, right? They're not gonna wait till they feel like they have to take a drastic measure, right? Another article, which was done by District Archives, published in January 2018. They also came up with a very great idea, which I really love this idea, where there's an anonymous reporting of bullying online. So they came up with this program where they have it on their website, and if a child is being bullied, and let's just say there's bystanders, they don't necessarily agree with what the bully is doing to the victim, right? But they might be scared to speak up because they're scared of retaliation, correct? So in this case, they've seen an increase of students actually reporting bullying, and these students came in to address the problem, the issue, and maybe they were giving resources, such for the victim as well as for the bully, because, again, we don't know what they're going through and we don't know the situation, but at least it's being addressed. At least the kids are feeling more comfortable in that scenario to say something. You see something, say something, right? And another one that I found out, which was published November 2019 in Behavior Disorders article. It's called the SWPBIS. This program actually is a program that identifies it's geared mainly towards kids that are the aggressor, bullies, to identify what kind of resources they need. Maybe they need counseling, maybe they need to talk to somebody, they need to vent to somebody. So that way, before it gets to extremes, or even maybe the child, you could see certain aggressive behaviors that maybe the teacher or administrator didn't see before developing. Maybe they're going through something and they could catch it in time before he becomes a bully, or even more, right? In that scenario. So in conclusion, I just feel that bullying is very much overlooked. Everybody tends to just dismiss it as kids will be kids, let it go, you'll grow out of it. Is it true? Well, if it's not true, just let it go. And unfortunately, nowadays, it's not like that. It's actually a very big topic that's overlooked, a topic that is not really taken seriously, I think, and it's something that's really like scary as a parent, because you always worry about you know, how to help your child and not be that next parent on the news saying, you know, I could have done, I should have done. So, and all with this said, I hope that, you know, all of us at home, it starts at home, we all start putting in a little grain of salt into implementing these thoughts into our kids. You know, be nice. I know maybe you might not get along with that person. You know, if you're not liking that person that day, it's okay to have those feelings, but you don't have to be cruel. You just stay away and be cordial. That's what I try to implement on my side, because I feel like even though it's just one person, it starts with one person, and if it just continues on, we'll eventually get to that place where maybe we'll get back to getting our kids more focused on education. Thank you for your time.